learn very quickly. Learn what is out there, and what do they learn? They learn how can you, man, please that desire further. For example, they're guys, they're sitting together in the student lounge at a university. And here comes a few girls. Oh boy, what is he going to talk about now? What happens at the beginning? The guys, the desires push the senses to work. And the first thing is what? It starts with hearing the laughter of the girl. And by the way, the girls also might do this same thing, but let's use the guys for now. The laughter tickles the desires. The desires now what? They want to, remember the desire learns what? How to be pleased more. All the desires know, and they know it well, is how to be pleased more and more. The hearing was not enough. So now what? Upper ranking, higher ranking sense. I want what? I want the eyes. Now I start looking. Is there anything stopping that desire, that chainsaw saying, stop, you shouldn't? So far, the intellect is weak in that human being. So he's not commanding. Not the upper level intellect says it's not good, by the way. But remember when I told you that second part of the intellect that believes in something and pushes the heart to do? That's sitting on the side saying, okay, that's fine. And then the eyes look. Then what happens? There is nothing within the self pulling the heart, pulling the man to say stop. So now I want to push it to a higher ranking desire or sense. I looked, now I have the guts or the courage, because reality is not courage. But I go and stand and I want to follow the girl. Nothing in me says stop, don't do it. I end up doing what? The mind is not doing it. Imam Ali says it beautifully. He reminds us, pleasure goes away, consequences will stay. The mind is not coming up and reminding this person, watch it, watch it, watch it, watch it, stop it, stop it. Because what am I doing here? As I am creating this movement, by the way, think, this movement is not independent of everything around it. This is, as you're creating this movement, as this thinking and pushing the desires more and more, you're also creating your future. How? Everything, Allah Azza wa Jal is the all-knowing. Everything you do has dependencies. And Allah is fair and just. You do it today, it will be done to you tomorrow. Today, you're following you're following a woman who is someone else's responsibility. Tomorrow someone will follow your woman. Today you're doing something wrong. Tomorrow you'll pay the consequences. If you think anything you do has no consequence, you do not understand this life. Everything you do is precisely, accurately calculated with Allah Azza wa Jal. Every thought. So when you start thinking, elevating, negatively of course, all these desires to serve something wrong, and nothing is pulling you back, what ends up happening? What you're doing is, you are deciding for yourself how would you be tested in the following days and months and years. What do I mean by that? Listen very carefully. Allah Azza wa Jal, I mentioned this briefly a few nights ago. Allah Azza wa Jal, He tests you for what purpose? Just because He likes it? Oh, look at him suffering. No. The purpose for testing is what? So you can change and be better. reality so you can realize your own potential. Listen to this very carefully. The purpose of testing is that you, human being, can realize your own potential. With Allah is pushing you to try harder. Why? To tell you, see, you can do this. Now let's go to the next level. And then you conquer it. See, you can do this. Let's go higher and higher and higher. Now when you fail, you go a step down. And you will keep on failing, Allah will keep on testing you on it. Why? When you are tested, you ought to know that the key for your next step is to get over this step. When you are tested over and over and over and you fail over and over and over, why? Allah is making you and allowing you, providing you the path to go back up, to go back up. Otherwise, let me tell you, you will never realize what your potential is ever. If you become stagnant and complacent in your own comfort zone, oh, I don't want to change. What a pity. What a pity. Those who are stagnant, those who don't move forward, you don't realize the potential that you have. You don't realize that you can change the world. You don't realize that you can move the entire world. The believer, that's why the Imam Islam says, a believer can move mountains. Why? He's engaged, he loves these tests that Allah puts him through, because he realizes these tests are the stepping stones for his what? Success. And the more you're tested, the more you're successful. And then there's a point that things change. What is that? Is the point that you realize as a believer, all this life is so temporary. That's when your tests become tougher, harder. Why? Because now it's not about this world being successful in it only. It's about gaining higher ends in the hereafter. And that's when you become in this group called Al-Mustafeen, or Al-Anbiya, Al-Awliya, Al-Awsiya. Their tests become what? Harder, tougher, because now it's not about this dunya anymore. It's surpassed. It's about the hereafter. And the hereafter, the test and examination becomes extremely personal. Why? Because it's changing the inner core of who you are. They are changing who you are, that core self. This idea, if you understand it well, and I'll try to build on it tomorrow and after tomorrow, inshallah, believe me, you start seeing things completely different. Completely different. And that's when I say, to base your actions on these ideas, on the understanding, on these mechanisms that I'm trying to supply you. What can 8 days do? I cannot reinvent the wheel. I cannot show you. What I can do is give you these tools in order for what? When I leave, or even when I'm here, inshallah, you can engage yourself in a process of thinking that might be a bit different, that will help you realize new things and come to new conclusions, and therefore start a new behavior. A behavior with what? With hope. Hope that is not only dreaming, hope that is real. And when you have that reality in mind, dear brothers and sisters, it is amazing what you can do. Because a true believer refuses to waste his or her time. A true believer is continuously working on the I. Why? That self is so precious, so valuable. And we realize that, subhanAllah, believe it or not, the mind, when it starts realizing this, all the different sciences become easy. You start getting, the school becomes easy to you. Why? Because there's something bigger, better, more important. You study. These sciences, simple. Why? Now you're looking at a higher level science. When you start understanding the words of Allah Azza wa Jal, the words of the Quran, start giving you life. Subhanallah. Allahu nuru samawati wal ard. What does that mean? Allahu nuru samawati wal ard. An-nur. Tomorrow I will talk about these phrases in the Quran and how they're applicable to me and applicable to you and applicable to the Imam and applicable to the prophets, each at his own what? Will and determination in the journey of self-perfection. And this is when we make sense of the words of Allah, and then the words of Allah will bring life to us based on what? How much will we have to allow it to help us discover who we are. It's all about discovery. It's all about learning who we are. And this is what happened in Karbala, dear brothers and sisters. What happened in Karbala is a journey. But it's a journey of amazing and ultimate discovery. You know why? You know when you become most powerful? You know when you know a person or a human being is extremely influential? Is when his self-discovery, when his journey of self-discovery becomes a journey for others to discover themselves. And Imam al-Hussein alayhi salam, see, when we talk about the Imams, do they go through the journey of self-discovery? Some might say, no, the Imam is perfect. Of course he's perfect, there's no question about that. But does perfect mean you cannot discover yourself further? As a matter of fact, this self of ours, it is amazing. Once it connects to the infinite, to the absolute, and realizes that connection to the absolute and infinite is endless, it then makes that self-discovery endless and infinite. And the Imam alayhi salam is the one and the one that is engaged in the most perfect journey of self-discovery. Now when we read the Imam seeking forgiveness from Allah, seeking repentance, not because, oh, he sinned, God forbid. No, the Imams are sinless. They're ma'soomeen. But they do that, why? Because the process in which a person seeks repentance and forgiveness, in reality it is what? Self-discovery, and in reality true self-discovery is what? Is a journey of knowing Allah Azza wa Jalla. And that's where the Imam alayhi salam becomes the center of self-discovery, and the beauty of it when that journey of his becomes a journey of ours. And look at Imam Hussein alayhi salam, 1400 years till today, what do? We commemorate that journey of self-discovery. As he went to Karbala to give himself for the sake of Allah Azza wa Jal. Look at this instant when he stood before the enemies of Allah Azza wa Jal, defined a moment in the self-discovery of Imam Hussein alayhi salam. What? I love you, my Lord. That love of Imam Hussein to Allah Azza wa Jal in the infinite sense made us. And how many speakers speak and lecture in Muharram? Let's just take 10 days. 10 days over 1400 years. Over every place in the world now says, Ya Hussein. SubhanAllah. That instant in time when Imam Hussein gave himself for the sake of Allah Azza wa Jal. It was so intense, that journey of self-discovery, that it is until today lighting the path for others to find themselves. That's when your self-discovery, your journey of self-discovery becomes so powerful, how you can reflect your own to others. And this is where we, dear brothers and sisters, listen to what happened to Imam Hussein alayhi salam in Karbala. What happened to Imam Hussein alayhi salam when he was giving the last farewell to Lady Zainab alayhi salam? He called, Ya Zainab, Ya Rabab, Ya Fatima. All the ladies came out, Ya Sukaina, to give the farewell to Imam Hussein. They say, dear brothers and sisters, Lady Zainab said, أيها النسوان قوموا للوداع. A woman come up, give the farewell to Imam Hussein. They say, Sukaina alayha salam looked at her father, أبدا استسلمت للموت. Did you submit to death? He looked at her, Sukaina, if you look at me in the land of Karbala, لا ناصر ولا معين, no helper and no aid for me, Sukaina. They say Sukaina started crying. She looked at Imam Hussein. He took her in his arm and hugged her. He said, سيطول من بعدي يا سكينة فاعلمي. Oh Sukaina, after my departure, you'll be for long shedding the tears. Ya Sukaina, يا ليتنا كنا معكم سادتي غريب حسين مظلوم حسين شهيد حسين. We wish we were with you, Ahlul Bayt, to aid you, support you. Let us offer the blessings of what we recited and the blessings of Surah Al-Fatiha to all the deceased ones after Salat ala Muhammad wa Ali Muhammad.